So we have to write programs on hierarchical inheritance. So now I'll create a new class. Already employee is our parent class that I extended to manager class, and I need to extend that to another class. Then it will be same class you are extending to multiple classes. That's what the hierarchical inheritance, right? One class you can extend to multiple classes, different tail classes. That's a hierarchical. So now I'm creating a tester class. So tester is an employee, so that we can extend right immediately. Let's extend employee class to this tester. Sorry, employee class. Now I'll write all the methods regarding to this tester related static method and non-static method. Protected static void to design test case. So that is a tester responsibilities. And what we can do, started executing tester class static method. This is the one we need to give it there. So how we'll design the test cases based on the requirements. Okay, so it's a simple method we have created. Then let's create one more method, non-static method. So execute the test. So copy that. Just change. Sorry, the should start with the lowercase. Should not start with capital letter. The method, and that is a non-static method. So once we get an environment or build, start executing the test. So these are the two methods, so that you can see now you can access all the static methods directly, both parent and child. So send notification. This is coming from employee class. So this method is coming from tester class. So that your static thing you can call directly. So you don't need to refer class name. That's what the thing, and see that you can access them. But non-static stuff you need to create object for child class always. Child class equal to new tester. So t dot set employee ID and t dot set employee name. So t dot, so all the setter methods I am calling. See, I didn't create these methods in this class. I'm reusing from employee class, right? So this is all the, so how you can reuse. And then so t dot set emp sales, that's it. Now you can print the details. So we need to set the company name, right? If you want to call, let me call set company name. So the company name institute. Okay, so these are all the different company names you can give, and tester details are tester ID. So t dot getter method. So we are calling getter methods to get all the details of a tester. Tester name is, and t dot get employee name, and next one, so tester salary is. So each object you can set your own values, right? So that's the advantage with this. So inheritance you are using, and also encapsulated. Both are. Tester belongs to import get company. So that this is the hierarchical inheritance. That same class is extended to tester, and even for manager class also it is extended. For manager class also it is extended. So one class you are extending to multiple child classes. That is called hierarchical inheritance. So now last one I want to show you. As I explained, multiple inheritance is not possible in Java in case of class. So let's match that. Why it is not possible? Quickly we'll finish that. So create a few classes. Okay. So A class. So we'll just create few methods. Public static. So void m1, just create this is a class m1 method. Same, I'll create a few more methods. This m2 method. I'm just making it to m3 method. Okay. So you just copy this a class and create a b class. Copy. We don't need to create again multiple. Just paste it here. So what will happen? It will ask for the new name. Give the new name. So next b class also will be created. Just change here the class name. Just change the class name. What is our intention? If a class and b class has the same methods, but logic is different, and then when you are extending two classes for this c class, and it's not going to support it. See that c extends a comma b is not possible. It is throwing error. So this concept is not applicable. Java doesn't support that. One class extends to multiple classes is not possible. One to one. Only one class extends to another class. Clear? Any doubts here? Any questions?
No, Andy.
No, sir.
Ramesh garu, hierarchical లో A is a parent class కదా, మరి BC రెండు
It's not hierarchical.
child classes.
It's not hierarchical, madam. It's not hierarchical.
ఇది కాదండి నేను అడుగుతుంది. ఇది నాకు అర్థమైంది. ఇంతకు ముందు మీరు హైరార్కికల్ దాంట్లో పేరెంట్ క్లాస్ ని చైల్డ్ క్లాసెస్ BC అనేవి B లోంది మళ్ళీ C లో కూడా మీరు వేరియబుల్స్ ని కాల్ చేస్తున్నారా?
Where is B? Where is A here? So tester is
Just
hierarchical means one class.
It's a child class కదా.
Employee. Employee is the parent.
పేరెంట్. మీరు ఇంతకు ముందు ప్రోగ్రామర్ కూడా చేశారు.
Inherit the employee class. I inherit the manager class. I didn't inherit the that is not hierarchical. That is multi-level. So this is a very simple matter. First of all, understand multi-level means what? Hierarchically means multi-level means different levels you are accessing. Grandparent, parent, and child. Now, programmer is the child. Child has a parent is manager. Manager parent is employee. Now this programmer can get manager plus employee all the methods. That is called multi-level. Hierarchical means same class you are extended to one child class, that is manager. Again you extended employee to another class, tester. You create one more class, again you extend the employee to that class also. This is called hierarchical. Let's understand the definition. Hierarchical means one parent class extending into multiple child classes.
అవును, మల్టిపుల్ చైల్డ్ క్లాస్ నుంచి చైల్డ్ క్లాస్ అనదర్ చైల్డ్ క్లాస్ కూడా అనదర్ దాంట్లో నుంచి కాల్ చేయొచ్చా అని అడుగుతున్నాను. ఒక దాంట్లో ఇంకో దాంట్లో.
This one you are asking.
Yeah.
This child class. You can extend. Now this will become parent and that will become child. That is not going to be hierarchical. That will become again
multi-level.
That's what I did here, right? In the programmer I did the same, right? This is the one child before, right? This is the child now. Manager is a child here. This child I extended to another child, that is programmer. Programmer I extended to another child, that is now manager is a parent to programmer, but here manager is the child to employee.
Okay, అర్థమైంది. Thank you.
Any other questions? This is the very important interview question. One class cannot be extended to multiple classes. Not possible in Java in case of class. Only one class extends to another class. It doesn't matter is hierarchical or multi-level, whatever it is. If you want to apply inheritance, one class extends another class. That's it. So two classes cannot be extended. That's not possible in Java at all. Right. That's all about inheritance. Polymorphism. Next topic. OOPS concepts. Now another famous concept of OOPS is polymorphism. Poly means many. Morphism is a change. So that means a change, how many ways you can do. That's a polymorphism. So this is the Greek mythology. They have taken these keywords and joined. So when one task is performed differently or different ways. So one task you can perform in different ways. That is called polymorphism. Different ways means, suppose I'm speaking with friends very jovially. I'm speaking with my parents very politely. I'm speaking with my manager very politely and obediently. And so like that, if I see a stranger, I'll speak differently. If I want to speak with my enemy, I'll speak rudely, right? So the task is speaking, but you are performing differently based on the situation. So that is called polymorphism. That's the best example. Speaking is the one task, but performing differently in different ways. And that's called polymorphism. A polymorphism you can achieve in two ways. One is method overloading and another one is method overriding. And polymorphisms are two types again: compile time polymorphism, runtime polymorphism. How can you achieve the polymorphism? One is method overloading and method overriding. These are the two ways you can achieve the polymorphism. And what is compile time polymorphism? A compile time polymorphism means if you overload static methods in Java, it is the example of compile time polymorphism. We will discuss runtime polymorphism later. First, let's understand method overloading. So method overloading means, and we already given this overloading concept in the constructor. What is meant by constructor overloading?
One class, multiple parameters. It takes overloading. It's called overloading.
No.
Class name is same, but different parameters. It's take
What do you
that,
call that?
multiple class parameters. Class
No,
and
no.
parameter.
Correct word you are not giving.
The parameters compiler differentiates the one
Okay.
construct to another.
So the simple answer is okay. You're a little bit closer for that, but you can put like this. The class can have multiple constructors with a different parameter list. That is called constructor overloading. That is constructor. Now I'm talking here method overloading. Similar structure, similar almost. That is a constructor, but this is a method, right? So see the differentiation of method overloading definition. If a class have multiple methods by same name but different parameters, is known as a method overloading. What is that? Class have multiple methods with the same name but different parameters is called method overloading. If we have to perform only one operation, having same name of the methods increases the readability of your program. It is easy to remember also. Every method, if you give different name, how many you can remember? That's not a good practice, right? So that's why you're doing same operation, give the same name, change only parameters. That's called method overloading. And advantage of method overloading is it increases the readability of the program. Then how can you achieve method overloading? So you can achieve method overloading in two ways. One is by increasing the number of arguments, by changing the number of arguments from method to method. It is increase. Suppose you taken method 1, 2 parameters. Method 2, same method name, parameters you increase 2 to 3 or 4, like that, more than the first one. But method name must be same. That's a rule. If you want to make a one method overloading, method name must be same. You should not change the method name. If you give a different method name, that's not overloading. Method name must be same. Parameters should be different and increase. Okay, what will happen? My method name is same, but parameter list is same. So method 1 has the same parameters 2. Method 2 also same parameters 2. Then it won't accept. But at least data type of the parameter must be different. At least one parameter data type should be different. So by changing the data type of the parameter, you can achieve second way method overloading. What is the first way? By increasing the number of parameters method to method, you can achieve method overloading. That's one way. And second one is by changing the data type of the parameter. So by changing the data type of the parameter also, you can achieve this method overloading. So let me show you that all these points. So method overloading. So there are
Selenium
many, sorry, I'm just giving an example for you. So what are all the methods we have in Selenium? Already applied this OOPS concept there. Already applied this OOPS concept in the Selenium. That means Java concept applied there. That's what I want to tell you. And there are a lot of methods. So now we go to web expected conditions class in Selenium. So this class provides lot of reusable method overloading concept. Can you see this? Element selection state to be. So by Boolean. Element selection state to be. See that method name is same, but what is changing here? Two parameters again. What is changing here? Can you observe here?
Data type.
Data type of the first parameter is changing. Here by class, here web element interface. Only parameter data type is changing. Second one is Boolean only. Both are same. Second parameter is same, but at least one parameter data type is element to be clickable by. Element to be clickable. Method name is same. Can you observe two methods with the same name in this class, in this expected conditions class? But the method name is same, but parameter is changing. See, one parameter only by, and this is the web element. One parameter only, but data type of the parameter is changing. Here class name, method name is same. Observe here, method name is same. Practically I am showing here very clearly. Two methods with the same name, but parameter data type is changing. That's the second one. By changing the data type of the parameter. For this point, this is the example. This is the example. Okay. Next one. Element to be selected by. Element to be selected web element. See that all the methods in this class are overloaded by this concept. By changing the data type of the parameter. That means method name is same. More than one method with the same name. But parameter data type is changing. That is method overloading. That's the one. Let me show you a few more. So most of the times that here also same because of that only. So I'll show you one more by increasing the number of parameters. First option I'll show you. First option I'll show you. What is the first option? By increasing the number of parameters, right? Will you agree? By increasing the number of parameters. Okay, fine. Let's go to our blog. In our blog also we have actions class. 1st of February itself. So we have actions class. Last one, actions class. Can you see this? Click method. So the click method without parameters. Now, next method. Click web element on element. So what is the difference between this one and this one? Method name is same only. But here 0 arguments, here 1 argument. That means the parameter list is increased, right? That is called method overloading. Are you clear? So both points I covered here. One is by increasing the number of parameters. Here we are increasing, here 0, here 1. That means increasing number of parameters, right? But method name is same in the actions class. In the actions class, method name is same. You see all are same point covering. First point, by increasing the number of parameters. See here 0 parameters, click and hold. And again another method, click and hold, but 1 parameter. So if you want to see one more, let me, every method here, same concept. So next you can see key down, keys dot key name, key down, another method, web element, keys dot key name. So this is the 1 parameter here, here 2 parameters with this method. Same method name is same, but parameter list is increasing, parameter list is changing. That is called method overloading. So clear? Shall I move on? Okay. So that's the method overloading means. Now, next points. Can we change the data type of the parameter? Sorry, method. Can you achieve the method overloading by changing the return type of the method? So it's not possible. Only parameter list, parameter data type, if you change, then method overloading is possible. But if you change the method return type, then method overloading cannot be achieved. And the point I have given very clearly here. So method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method. That's a method overloading. Why method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method? So the reason is, in Java, method overloading is not possible by changing the return type of the method because there may occur ambiguity. That means confusion will come. That's the reason. So it is not possible. Can you overload the main method? Yes, you can overload the main methods, but only execution method is only one, that is string square bracket args. That is the only execution one. Other methods you are creating with the same method name, main, but parameters must be different. I'll show you how to overload that. So this is the method overloading. So let me show you quickly the program method overloading demo. Any questions before going for the programs?
No, sir.
So we move on to method overloading demo. I'll create a few methods, okay? Quickly, public static int sum, int a comma b, sum of a comma b. Maybe you can put return, read urn return a plus b. So plus a plus b. So this is the one method. I'm going to create one more method. So this time what I'm going to do, see that if you give same parameters, it's throwing error. If I increase the parameters list, it is so solved. So what is the difference between first one and this one?
Different
So what
parameters.
method name is same, but number of parameters are increased. I want to do sum of 3 numbers, then I cannot perform with this method. If you want to do 2 integers sum, and this method will solve your problem. If you want to do 3 integer number sum, and I have to use this. So I don't want to give different method name here. If you give different method name, how many you can remember? So next, that's our first point I covered here. So what is that? By increasing the number of parameters, so we can achieve method overloading. That's the first point. Second point, by changing the data type of the parameter. By changing the data type of the parameter, you can achieve method one. So now suppose you have a 2 parameters, right? Let me take 2 parameters only, but I'll change the data type of 1 parameter. This I'll make it float. I'll make it a float, and this also you can make it float. So now here you can see here, or you want to give same data type, let's put data type. and you can typecast it if you don't want. See that? So I'm not changing the return type, but my only parameter is changed. Parameter is changed here. Still I can achieve method overloading. So here also two parameters. Here also two parameters. But what is the difference here? What is the difference between this method and this method? Second method, parameter data type is different. That's a method overloading, how you can achieve. Can I achieve method overloading by changing the return type? Suppose same method, only return type I will change. That is float. Can I achieve this? No.
No.
See that? What is the issue you are getting? Duplicate method sum. If you change the return type of the method, not the parameters data type. Parameters are same data type, a integer, b integer. Here also a integer, b integer. But what I did, change it the method return type, I change it to some other. But you cannot achieve method overloading. So remember this point. Okay, you cannot achieve method overloading. So you cannot achieve method overloading by changing the return type of the method. So you cannot achieve that. So all 3 points I covered. Next point, can we overload the main method? Yes. So let me show you how we can do. So what is the method overloading? First understand method name must be same. Only parameters will change. Right now, see that same method name, right? Main, everything same. What is the difference here and here? This is a string, and this is the string array arguments. These are all. So now execution one is only this one only, not this one. So this is your own, right? Started executing main method with this string. Okay, now you can say str equal to str plus. So I can say first I'll do that. I can print this. Let's print. So this I developed my own method and I'm writing some logic. So can you overload? Overloaded already here. And one more method I will overload. Same main method I'm overloading, but this time integer. This is overloading, right? Method name is same, but parameter data type is different. So that's the method overloading is. Overloading the main method with integer number. So this is the way you can do. So how you can overload the main method also. So is it clear what is meant by method? By seeing this you can easily tell the definition, and if you forget I cannot do anything here and there. So clearly practically I'm showing you. See that a class has multiple methods with the same name, but parameter list is different. Here also one more, method name is same, but parameter list is different. That's a pure definition. You can give that. If you forget this practically, even if you're seeing, and nobody will help you. Any questions here? So let's call. So one by one you call it. So I'm calling return type methods, right? I can call here like this. Whichever the method you are calling, so automatically connection will happen to that body. So this is the calling, right? So I'll do float. Here I can change my values. See that? Whichever the method, this is the calling, will connect to that method body automatically. So now this method body it will connect. So that is another called binding, we call that. I'll tell you that binding after this. So that's it. See that this method call will connect to this method body. That is called binding. A call to over a method is called, so that is called binding. So we'll discuss that binding means what. This is a method overloading means. See that I can call even main method. If I give, so another method if I call, see that. So this will connect to this method, and this method will be connected to this method. So this is the method overloading means. So you call the same method, but parameters you change. The what data type you are passing in this while calling the method, then that method will be called. So if I'm passing integer, where is the integer parameter main method? It will go to that method only. So that is called method overloading, right? That's all about method overloading. Any queries before going to the next topic? Method overriding. I'm just pausing few seconds if you have any queries. No queries?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So
No,
next, second one is method overriding. Method overriding means if subclass or child class has the same method as declared in the parent class is known as a method overriding. In other words, you can say if subclass provides the specific implementation of the method that has been provided by one of its parent class is known as a method overriding. Simply you can say method overriding happens between two classes and you must apply inheritance concept. And you have one parent class and child class. Suppose in the parent class you have method M1, or you take a login method, okay? And this login method is, so when you call this login method in your test cases, this always takes the admin credential by default. And I don't want that. I want to test access permissions for my pages. I want to do a normal user login. Then how can you overcome that? So what you can do in the child class, you call the method, the same method, give the same structure, but only change the implementation part in the method body. Same parameters, username, password you have to give for the login. There is no change in that. But body inside, write a different logic, so that you are not disturbing the parent class method. You are improving that however you want, you are implementing in your own way, so that you can call this login method in your test cases. It is not going to affect others. So that means basically two classes have the same method, but in the child class, the logic will be different than parent class. That is called method overriding. So you can give your own logic in the child class for the same method that is already there in the parent class. So such cases you can do method overriding. And method overriding usage is you can provide specific implementation of the method that is already provided by its superclass or its parent class or its base class. These are the different names for the parent class. So method overriding is used for achieving the runtime polymorphism. Method overloading is used to achieve the compile time polymorphism. That's a terminology. And what are the rules for creating a method overriding? So first rule is method name must be same as in the parent class. Parent class method, child class method name must be same. Method must have same parameters as in the parent class. In the child class, whatever the method you are taking from parent, which method you decided to override, that method should also contain same parameters, whatever is there in the parent class. And child class implementation should be different than the parent class method. Parent class method logic and child class method logic should be different, should not be same. Okay, that's a very, very important point, this one. Remaining all as it is, you will copy and paste the method. Parameters, so method name and return type and whatever even access modifiers also will give the same. But there, if you have public, you cannot move it to protected or a default or private. Less permissions you cannot give. There, if you have less permission, you can give more permissions. Suppose you have protected there in the parent class. You can give public here, but not less than that permission. Protected less than permission is a default and private, right? So those you cannot give in the child class. So be clear on these points. They asked many times these questions. So while overriding, my parent class has a method, you are overriding M1 method. In the child class, same M1 method is your overriding. But parent class method M1 is having access modifier protected. Can I give here private or default? No, you cannot give. You can give same access modifier or more than that, but not less than that. So less permissions you cannot give, and you cannot use access modifier different than the parent class one. So everything same, only logic in the body must be different than parent class method. And you must use inheritance between the two classes. This is a mandatory. Without inheritance, method overriding is not possible at all. First, you have to apply the inheritance. Then you choose which method you want to override. That method, you write a different logic here. Overriding means parent class method logic you are suppressing. When you call this method child class method, and you will get only this method logic, not the parent class method. That is called method overriding. That is called method overriding. And what is runtime polymorphism? Another very important point. What is runtime polymorphism? Runtime polymorphism or dynamic method dispatch is it's a process in which a call to overridden method is resolved at runtime only, not at compile time. But in the method overloading, the call to method overloading is decided at a compile time itself, because that's a static. But you can do non-static also overloading. But mostly that will be resolved at compile time. But this method overloading always happens at runtime. So when you create object, that time only it will be decided. That's a runtime polymorphism or a method, dynamic method dispatch. So what is the runtime polymorphism or dynamic method dispatch? It's a process in which a call to overridden method is resolved at runtime. Call to overridden method means which method you are calling, then so it will be resolved the problem. Child class or parent class method you are calling. Obviously, always child class logic you will. That's a runtime polymorphism. Important point, very, very important. So they will ask you where you have used runtime polymorphism in your Selenium. Every OOPS concept they will correlate with the Selenium concept, and they will ask, can you give an example in Selenium where you have used this concept in Selenium? I'm giving here itself now itself. That's why clearly. So catch this point, okay? And any questions?
Sir, can you please repeat what is runtime polymorphism, sir? I have.
Runtime polymorphism. You have already method overriding, madam.
Yes, sir.
Now you are calling. So when you call, which method has to call? Parent class or child class?
Child only, sir.
You want your child class method. That
Yes.
call, how it will be resolved? That is called runtime polymorphism. Based on the object type you are creating, then that method will be called to you, right? So that is called runtime polymorphism. It is deciding at runtime which method has to call. So obviously it will go to overridden method only, where you are overriding in the child class. Child class method only will be called to you. But again, it depends on the object. You cannot give guarantee, right? Always it has to call child class, not necessarily like that. If I create object for parent class, then I can call parent class method, right? But in the inheritance, you should not do that, right? Parent class, you should not create object. Will you accept with me? So inheritance, we always need to create object for child class only.
Yes, sir.
So that's what, and the call to the overridden method is reserved at runtime only. So what type of object you created, then which object reference you are using to call the methods. That is called runtime polymorphism. And in this process, an overridden method is called through the reference variable of superclass. So I told you object can be created with the same reference type or parent reference type. This is the parent reference type I can use to call the overridden method. Only overridden methods you want to call. You can use this parent type reference variable. So that I'll tell you what is that parent type reference variable. Till now we used same type, right? Same class reference type you are using to call the methods, right? Class name reference variable equal to new class name. Same class reference variable you are using to call the methods, right? But here, if you want to call overridden methods, you use superclass type reference variable equal to new child class object. That is called runtime polymorphism, and also we call that upcasting. Upcasting we call that. So that means so the determination of the method to be called is based on the object being referred to by the reference variable. Okay, your reference variable is pointing to, so the data type of your reference variable is the same class type or superclass type. Based on that, you can call this overridden methods. But in the same, both even if you use same data type or super type, you will get always overridden method. But object is of same child class means always you will get child class overridden method logic only for you. There is no chance of getting parent class logic. So that is called runtime polymorphism. But what is upcasting? So upcasting means when reference variable of parent class refers to the object of child class is called upcasting. Just a reference type you are changing to parent class. That is called upcasting. With this process, you can call only overridden methods, not child class methods. Which method you have overridden, that method only you can call with upcasting or runtime polymorphism process, not child class methods. Okay, that is called upcasting or runtime polymorphism. See here, so upcasting means parent class, the reference variable. This reference variable data type now parent class, not child class. Till now we are giving only same class, this reference variable type, but now I am changing to parent class here, and parent class, that reference variable equal to new child class, and this process is called runtime polymorphism or upcasting. Parent class reference variable is pointing to child class object is called upcasting or runtime polymorphism. Now see, the data type of this reference variable is not same as a child class here. What is the data type of this reference variable now? Parent class. That is called runtime polymorphism. Then with this process, you can call only the overridden method and parent class methods, but not child class. Only which method you have overridden in the child class, that method you can call, and parent class methods you can call, not other child class methods. Other child class methods which is not overridden, those methods you cannot call with this process, with the runtime polymorphism concepts. Only overridden methods, all of them you can call. That's the parent class and reference variable equal to new child class. That is called runtime polymorphism or upcasting. In this line, so you have a runtime polymorphism concept. Now you are calling overridden method. See that So your call to override method is resolved at runtime. So it is resolving at runtime. When you create object only, that's a runtime, right? And it is resolving a call to override method based on the reference type you are passing and type of object you are creating. That is called upcasting or runtime polymorphism. And as I told you, is a relationship must be there if you want to achieve method overriding. And another question, can we override the static methods? No, it's not possible. Only non-static methods you can override. Why you cannot override the static methods? That's another interview question. Why we cannot override the static methods? Because static method is bound with the class, whereas instance method is bound with object. Static belongs to the class area and instance method belongs to heap area. So class area will be loaded into JVM and it is before running your program itself. But heap area, when it will fill? Only at runtime. Only at runtime, right? Heap area will be filled. When you create object, only that time the memory will be created in the heap. That's why static methods you cannot override. Only non-static methods you can override. Are we clear? Now, based on this statement, can you tell me, can we override the main method?
No, sir.
Why?
I think static.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Because main method is a static method. So you cannot override. That's a very simple answer. Okay, these are the interview questions people used to ask. Now, last one before going into the program. So what is the difference between method overloading and method overriding? Let me give you clear differences. So first give your definitions. Method overloading means what? If a class has multiple methods with the same name but different parameter list is called method overloading. Method overriding means a child class is trying to implement differently than parent class method is called method overriding. And second point, method overloading is used to increase the readability of the program. Method overriding is used to provide the specific implementation of the method that is already provided by its superclass. So that means already parent class, the method is developed and you don't want to disturb that. And you want to give a different logic for the same method, then go for method overriding. And third point, method overloading is performed within the class. Same class only will perform. That's a method overloading. But method overriding occurs in between two classes. That must apply inheritance. Is a relationship must be there. That's the third point. In case of method overloading, parameter must be different method to method. In case of method overriding, parameter must be same. Whatever the parameters are there in the parent class, same parameters you have to take in the child class. Method overloading is the example of compile-time polymorphism. Method overriding is the example of runtime polymorphism. So in Java, method overloading cannot be performed by changing the return type of the method, and return type must be same or covariant in the method overriding. Same, whatever the parent class return type is there, method return type, same you must use in the child class also. That is the difference between method overloading and method overriding. So there is one simple concept before going to the program, that is binding. A binding means a call to the method body. A connection between a call to method body is called binding. So this is the one. This is the call, right? Method call. a method call to method body. So this is called a binding. How you are binding this call? So that is called binding. Binding means a connection between method call to method body is called binding. There are two types of binding: static binding, dynamic binding. Static binding is, so that happens at compile time only. Early binding also we call that. Static binding means, or early binding also we call that. So when you overload static methods, and when you have a class, your class has static methods, private and final methods, then there occur a static binding occurs automatically. When in the class, if you have a static methods, private static methods, and final methods, there occur static binding by default. And dynamic binding means it happens at runtime. So obviously method overriding means that's the late binding or dynamic binding we call this. So that happens at runtime only. That is called dynamic binding. Okay, so this is all about polymorphism. Let's create quickly the programs so that you can get a better idea. So I'm creating one animal class. So I don't want to take a main method. I'll just take a animal class. So let's develop few properties and things. It's up to you. Properties you want or not, it's all up. So I'll declare one method, public static void eat method. Started executing the animal class eat method. So different animals will eat different food, right? Different food. So that's the one thing. So protected, not static. I don't want static. I cannot override the static methods. Protected void make sound. So just these two methods you take up, or you can write more methods also if you want. So I don't want to disturb you. How many methods you want, you can create. Make sound method. And I'll write here, so different animals make different sounds. Okay, and that's the, so these are the two methods I created. So now I'll create a dog. Okay, let's create a dog class. Dog is an animal. Will you accept? Dog is an animal. Will you accept or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that means is a relationship is there. So I can apply inheritance now. Extends animal. So now I want to override eat method. So I'll override eat method. Public void eat, same method name, same return type, same access modifier you have to write, same parameter. No parameters here also. See that exactly same I'm calling. Only my logic will change here. So my logic will change here. Only logic should be different. Method name must be same. Method parameter must be same. Return type, access modifier, everything should be same. Only the logic should be different. So dog class eat method you are overriding, right? So this is the one I've just put some statement. This logic is different than this parent class logic, right? This logic is different and this logic is different. Both are different. You are overriding this method. This is the overriding method. So overriding method. So I can create a child class, many other methods also. Suppose protected. So void playing. So I can write dog class playing. Dog is playing. So another method I can create. So void, so tailing. So these are the behaviors of a dog, right? And dog class, so tailing method. And you can say here, so dog is tailing with one the nature. So just some methods you are developing, okay? So maybe I can write one more method. Bark. So these are different methods I have written in the child class, but only one method I am overriding. So you can override other method also if you want. Okay, it's up to you. Not necessary you have to override only one. How many methods are there in the parent class? All methods you can override if you want in the child class. That's a method overriding means. So strangers. So these are all the methods we have developed. Now, so what is the runtime polymorphism? So as I told you already, in the inheritance process, you always need to create object for child class. That's what. But runtime polymorphism or upcasting. Upcasting. What is meant by this? So what is the meaning of this? Parent class. So reference variable equal to new child class. So this is called upcasting or runtime polymorphism. What is the parent class here?
Animal.
Animal. So a object equal to new. What is the child class?
Dog.
So this is called runtime polymorphism or upcasting. Okay. So when you call a object dot eat method, see that which logic is going to come for you. Now it is overridden method will be called here. See that only overridden method. Which class logic you are getting? Dog class logic. That means child overridden method logic you are getting. This logic, not the parent class logic. See that here also eat method is there, but this logic is not executing. Which method logic is executing? Child class, which is overridden. Overridden method logic is calling. That is called runtime polymorphism. The call to overridden method is deciding at runtime. That is called runtime polymorphism. Now it is always going to call this one only. Now you see, you cannot call these methods with this process. With this process, runtime polymorphism concept process, you cannot use to call the child class methods. Here the other methods are not visible. Only parent class methods are visible. So this make sound is visible, but other child class methods, barking, other playing methods, tailing method is not visible here. You can see anything is there? No. Only eat method, that is overridden method, and parent class method is. This is only to call overridden methods you will use this runtime polymorphism, and to call parent class methods you will use this concept. So I don't want like this. So what I can do, I want to call parent and child class. Child class overridden method and child and parent class methods. Then you can do like this. Create object for child class. That's the inheritance process, right? So reference type also class name. So you can give a dog class. Dog d object equal to new dog. Now with this process, you can call both parent and child class methods, but when you call d object dot eat method, always you will get a dog class logic, child class logic, not the parent class logic. You can see here, I'll separate, okay, so that you can see easily. See, both are printing dog class logic. So that's the difference. Observe that difference. Now you can call playing. So you can call playing also. So tailing you can call. Before that you are not able to call. With this a object reference, if you use, you are able to call only eat method, overridden method, and parent class method, but not child class methods. But with this child class reference variable, this is the child class reference variable pointing to child class object. But here parent class reference variable pointing to child class object. That process you can call only overridden methods, not other methods of child class. But parent class methods you can call. Even I can call make sound also, see that. But with this process, all you can call, but overridden methods only will come when you call any method if you have overridden. Now eat method we have overridden. That's why child class logic only will be called to you, not parent class logic. That's what we want, right? I don't want to call the parent class method. My purpose is I want my dog class method logic for eat method. So that's I achieved that with the method overriding. I'm getting that. So my purpose is I don't want to disturb my animal class eat method. I want to write same method but different logic. So that you can achieve with the method overriding concept, applying inheritance and calling the that same method in the child class and develop your own logic here. And again, method name, parameters, everything should be same. Only method logic is different. And then when you create object for this child class and that reference variable, either this one is correct or this one is correct. Whichever you want, you can use that. But you want to call only overridden methods, use this runtime polymorphism concept. And no, I don't want to call only overridden methods, I want to call other methods also. Then go for the child class, that reference variable pointing to child class object. Then you will call both the parent and child class, but you will get only overridden method logic you will get here, any point of. Then how can you call parent class method? Parent class eat method. Both of this process never give you parent class method. Okay, that's what method overriding. You are overriding by this process. You are overriding here with this method overriding and getting the your logic, your implementation is going to call for you, and then you can continue your testing. That's the method overriding means. So any questions? That's all about method overriding. If you have questions,